Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Glad to be back.
Today we're going to be looking at the best movies of 2025 so far.
At least according to Rotten Tomatoes.
Exactly. We're going off of their rankings.
Yeah.
And whether you follow movies closely or...
you just need something new to watch.
Yeah, you're just looking for some ideas. This is the episode for you.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting looking at Rotten Tomatoes because it really does bring in a variety of different critical opinions.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the box office numbers.
Right.
It's really about like a more holistic view.
Yeah.
What people are considering good movies.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump right into the top three.
Okay.
And at the very top we have One of Them Days at a whopping 95%.
Wow.
And this is a buddy comedy starring Kick Palmer and SCA.
That sounds like a good time.
Right. I mean, just imagine those two together.
Oh, the chemistry is going to be off the charts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see how that one plays out.
Me too.
Next up, we have Companion at 94%.
Okay.
Now, this one has a very interesting origin story.
Oh.
It's on the same studio that brought us The Notebook,
Interesting.
but also from the creators of Barbarians.
What? That's a wild combination.
I know. Talk about a range.
I'm very curious to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, what kind of movie comes from that?
Right.
And then rounding out the top three, we have a familiar face, Paddington in Peru,
Oh, nice.
coming in strong at 93%.
Good for him.
This is the third film in the Paddington franchise, and just a reminder
Yes.
that the first two films, Paddington in 2014 and Paddington 2 in 2017, were also critical hits.
Yeah, they were both really well received.
So very curious to see how they continue that legacy.
It's not easy to pull off a good trilogy, so
No, it's not.
I'm rooting for Paddington.
I am too.
I want to see him succeed.
I want to see more Paddington.
Yeah.
So as we move a little bit further down the list, one of the things that really stands out to me
Okay.
is the variety of genres. I mean, we've got everything from horror,
Oh, yeah.
like The Damned in Presence, to anime with the colors within.
We even have some romantic comedies in there. Bridget Jones. Mad About the Boy. Hard Eyes.
Oh, and we can't forget Dogman.
Oh, yeah. How could we forget Dogman?
Everyone loves Dogman.
It seems like there's something for everyone this year, which
Yeah.
is really exciting.
There really is. And speaking of Hard Eyes, that one really caught my attention because
why is that?
they're calling it a slasher rom-com.
What? A slasher rom-com?
Yes.
What does that even look like?
I know. I'm so curious.
How do those two genres
Well,
go together?
That's a very intriguing concept.
There.
Also, Bring Them Down
Okay.
is starring Barry Keoghan,
Oh,
who is fantastic in The Banshees of Inisherin.
yeah, he's a great actor.
And The Colors Within has just such a fascinating premise.
What's that one about?
So the main character in that film can actually perceive people's emotions as colors.
Wow.
Like imagine if anger was red and sadness was blue.
That's amazing visually. I bet it's
you-
incredible.
I think it would be very visually stunning.
Mhm.
All right, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the directors behind some of these films.
Oh, sure.
So Steven Soderbergh,
Okay.
you know him from Ocean's 11, Traffic.
Yeah.
He directed Presence.
Interesting.
So we can probably expect that signature visual style.
Yeah, he's got such a distinct style, and he's not afraid to experiment.
No, he's not.
So it'll be interesting to see what he does with this Presence. Is supposed to be like a
Oh, yeah.
slow burn, spectral thriller.
Yeah, like psychological.
So not so much jump scares, but more like,
Right, more of that creeping dread.
yeah, that psychological element.
Exactly.
Same.
And then we have Naoko Yamada, who directed The Colors Within.
Okay.
Now, she's already pretty well known in the anime world
Yeah.
for her beautiful visuals and her emotional storytelling.
She's got a really distinct style,
Mhm.
like poetic and ethereal.
Yeah.
So that combined with this concept of the colors within, where you're seeing emotions as colors, I think could be really powerful.
I think it'd be a very interesting film.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, me too. And another one that has people talking is Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy.
Oh, yeah.
So this one is coming in at 88%
Okay.
on Rotten Tomatoes, and it is the final installment
Oh, wow.
of the Bridget Jones franchise.
So it's the end of her story.
Yes, and it's always tricky
Did
to
it?
revisit a beloved franchise.
Especially one with a character like Bridget Jones.
Right.
Who people have such a strong connection to.
Yeah, people really love Bridget Jones.
Yeah, they do.
No.
I'm curious to see if it lives up to the legacy.
Yeah. Are they going to give us what we want?
Right. Will it be a satisfying conclusion?
Exactly. And sequels often struggle to recapture that magic.
They do.
you know?
Yeah, it's hard.
Especially with characters that we already have such a strong connection to.
Mm,
So I'm really curious to see how they pull that one off.
me too.
So we've covered quite a bit so far.
We have.
Buddy comedies to Paddington,
Slasher rom-com
slasher rom-com
to anime.
to anime.
It's a lot.
I'm really impressed with the variety this year.
It's a good year for movies.
It really is.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of creativity and diversity out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so before we move on to some of the other films on the list,
Okay.
let's take a moment to get your initial thoughts
Sure.
on some of these we've already talked about.
Okay.
One of them days. Keith Palmer, SCA, as best friends.
Okay, so I think that this has the potential to be something really special.
Yeah.
I mean, they both have such incredible comedic timing and charisma,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that they're playing best friends, it just adds that warmth and authenticity.
Absolutely.
I'm also really interested to see how they play with the buddy comedy formula,
Yeah, what do they bring?
right? Do they bring something new to it?
How do they make it their own?
Yeah.
All right, how about Companion? That mix of romance and horror.
Oh, that one's a wild card. Right. It's hard to say what to expect.
Yeah.
But I think it has the potential to be really unique.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, me too. The colors within.
Yeah, that concept is just so captivating.
Right.
The idea that you could see emotions as colors.
Yeah.
It's visually, I think it's going to be stunning.
Oh, for sure.
And with Naoko Yamada directing, who's known for her just gorgeous visuals,
Yeah.
I have really high hopes for that one.
Yeah, me too. And finally, Bridget Jones.
Oh, Bridget.
Mad About the Boy. What are your expectations for this one?
I think the key to Mad About the Boy is to strike that balance between honoring what people loved about the original
Mm-hmm.
while also allowing the character to grow and evolve.
Right.
I think we want to see Bridget grow,
Yes.
you know?
She can't be stuck where she was 20 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the real challenge.
Yeah,
But I'm excited to see what they do with it.
me too.
Yeah.
So many great films to talk about,
There are.
and we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to come.
So much more.
It's a good year for film.
It really is. All right, so we talked about some of the big names from Rotten Tomatoes' Best of 2025 list.
Yeah, we've got a good start.
Let's dig a little deeper, see what else we can find.
Okay. Sounds good.
I'm really intrigued by the variety we're seeing this year.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we haven't even talked about horror.
Oh, that's right.
So let's do that.
Yeah, let's dive into the horror selections.
All right. So we've got The Damned and Presence.
Okay, so The Damned, I've heard, is really unsettling.
Okay.
Like a lot of atmosphere and psychological twists.
Oh, yeah.
And then Presence, we've already mentioned.
Right, with Soderbergh.
Yeah.
Presence sounds really chilling. A family tormented by unseen forces in their own home.
It's a classic horror setup.
It is.
But with Soderbergh directing, it's not going to be your typical haunted house story.
No, I think he'll bring something new to it.
Yeah, he's really good at creating suspense and playing with audience expectations.
For sure.
So I'm really curious to see what he does with that one.
Yeah, how does Soderbergh do a haunted house movie?
Right.
Okay, let's talk about a film that seems to be generating a lot of conversation and maybe a little bit of controversy. Bridget Jones.
Mad About the Boy.
Oh, yeah, the final chapter.
The final chapter.
Could be interesting.
Some fans are worried that it won't live up to the legacy of the original.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on revisiting beloved characters and stories after so much time has passed?
You know, it's a delicate balance.
It is.
On one hand, you want to honor what made the original so beloved.
Yeah.
Those characters, those moments that resonated so deeply with audiences.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, you don't want to just rehash the same old ground.
No, you got to do something new.
You need to find ways to allow those characters to grow and evolve,
Exactly.
to face new challenges and explore new facets of themselves.
I think that's a key point, that growth and evolution.
Audiences have grown and evolved since the first Bridget Jones film.
Oh, sure.
And I'm sure they're hoping to see that same kind of growth reflected in Bridget herself.
Exactly.
It's not just about revisiting the past.
No.
It's about seeing how these characters that we care about navigate the present.
It's about finding that sweet spot where nostalgia and innovation intersect.
Oh, that's good.
And, it's not just about the characters either.
Right.
The world has changed a lot since the early 2000s.
It has.
So it'll be interesting to see how Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy, reflects those changes both in terms of societal shifts and the evolution of filmmaking itself.
Okay, speaking of societal shifts,
Yeah.
let's circle back to Hard Eyes.
Okay. That slasher rom-com.
That slasher rom-com.
A very interesting combination.
I think it's a blend that feels particularly relevant today.
Oh, how so?
Well, we're constantly grappling with complex emotions,
Mm-hmm.
navigating the blurred lines
Yeah.
between love and obsession.
Yeah, that's true.
So this idea of a slasher rom-com kind of speaks to that.
I see what you mean.
It does.
Yeah, it's a really intriguing premise, right?
It is.
The idea that something as beautiful and life-affirming as love can coexist with something as dark and destructive as violence.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting juxtaposition.
Makes you wonder if they're trying to make a statement about the duality of human nature.
That's a good point.
You know, that light and shadow exist within us all.
Yeah, that we're all capable of both.
Exactly.
It's definitely a film that's prompting a lot of thought and discussion,
Yeah.
which is always a good sign.
It is. It means it's doing something right.
Right. It's not just a mindless popcorn flick.
Exactly. They're trying to do something different.
Push the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah.
Explore some unconventional themes.
And I think that's something we're seeing more and more of in contemporary cinema.
Oh, absolutely.
Filmmakers are taking risks,
They are.
experimenting with form and content,
Hmm.
challenging audiences to think differently about the stories they're consuming.
It's a very exciting time to be a film enthusiast.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, and for those who are looking for something a little more lighthearted,
Yeah.
we've got Dogman.
Oh, Dogman. Can't go wrong with Dogman.
It's based on the popular children's book series,
Right.
so it already has a built-in audience.
Yeah, but I think it has the potential to appeal to adults, too.
Oh, for sure.
Who are just looking for a fun,
Right.
escapist experience.
Yeah, sometimes you just need that.
You do.
You need a movie that's just pure entertainment.
Just pure fun.
Yeah.
And Dogman seems like it'll deliver that.
Celebrates the power of imagination,
Yeah.
the bond between humans and animals.
A classic good versus evil story.
Exactly.
You know, good always triumphs.
Everyone loves a good superhero story,
Especially one with a canine protagonist.
especially a dog.
Yeah.
All right, so we've explored a range of genres,
We have
from heartwarming
the
comedies
chilling horror
to chilling horror and everything in between.
and everything in between.
But before we wrap things up,
Okay.
I'd love to get your final thoughts on a few of these films.
Sure. Happy to share.
So starting with One of Them Days, do you think this buddy comedy has what it takes to become a modern classic?
You know, it's hard to say,
It is.
but it definitely has all the ingredients for success. Talented cast,
Mm-hmm.
great chemistry, witty script,
Yeah,
heartwarming premise.
it does.
But ultimately, whether or not it becomes a classic is going to depend on how it resonates with audiences.
Right.
Will it capture the spirit of those beloved buddy comedies of the past
Yeah.
while still feeling fresh and relevant to today's viewers?
That's the question.
That's the big question.
I'm curious to see if it sparks a resurgence of the buddy comedy genre.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
It would.
I think it's a genre that's ripe for reinvention.
It is.
And One of Them Days could be just the film to do it.
Yeah, it could.
It would be great to see more films that celebrate friendship and laughter, especially in a world that can often feel so divided and stressful.
Absolutely.
Sometimes all you need is a good laugh with a friend
Right.
to remind you what's truly important in life.
Exactly. All right. How about Companion?
Companion.
Do you think it will succeed in blending romance and horror in a satisfying way?
It's a tough one.
It is.
I mean, it's a risky proposition.
Yeah.
But I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
The fact that it's coming from such experienced creative teams
Right.
gives me hope that they'll be able to pull it off.
Okay.
I'm envisioning a film that's both emotionally engaging and genuinely unsettling.
Interesting.
A film that explores the dark side of love
Mm-hmm.
without sacrificing its inherent beauty and complexity.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the idea that they might be using the horror elements to heighten the romantic tension,
Oh, I like that.
you know, to create a sense of unease
Right.
that kind of underscores the vulnerability and intensity of love.
Yeah, like they're saying that love itself can be a kind of horror,
Oh, wow.
a force that can consume you. Mm-hmm.
Possess you and drive you to do things you never thought possible.
That's a really interesting take.
It's a dark and fascinating perspective
It is.
on a subject that's often romanticized and idealized.
Okay. And finally, The Colors Within.
The colors within.
Do you think this one has the potential to be a crossover hit?
I think it does.
Okay.
I think it has all the elements to appeal to a wide audience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the premise is universally relatable. We all experience emotions.
We do.
And the idea of seeing them manifested as colors is just visually stunning and thought-provoking.
Yeah.
And with Naoko Yamada at the helm,
Yeah.
who's known for creating these emotionally resonant stories,
Yeah.
I think it has the potential to be really special.
It seems like she's trying to create a film that's not just about entertainment,
Oh, yeah.
but also about exploring the human condition.
Exactly.
Understanding ourselves and each other on a deeper level.
And that's what makes her work so compelling.
Yeah.
It's not just about pretty pictures and flashy animation.
No, it's about something more. It's about using those tools to tell stories that matter.
Right.
Stories that connect with us on an emotional level and stay with us long after the credits have rolled.
I think that's a great note to end on.
It is.
The power of film lies in its ability to connect with us, to make us think, feel, and see the world in new ways.
And it seems like the films of 2025 are doing just that.
They really are.
Yeah, they're challenging us, inspiring us, and reminding us of the magic and wonder of cinema.
Absolutely. All right, so that's our look at some of the most talked about movies of 2025 so far.
Yeah, it's been a great discussion.
It has. So much to look forward to this year.
There is.
And we'll be back soon to talk about even more films as they come out.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You know, it's really interesting to see how filmmakers are taking these familiar genres and kind of breathing new life into them.
Yeah, finding new ways to explore them.
Exactly like we've talked about horror, we've talked about romance. But there's also this really interesting trend of bringing children's stories to the big screen.
Oh, yeah.
In a way that feels fresh and engaging.
Oh, Dogman.
Dogman, exactly.
And Paddington in Peru.
Paddington. Yeah, those films have this wonderful way of blending humor with like a subtle social commentary.
Right, they're not just for kids.
They're not, and they're visually delightful.
Yeah, they're just fun to watch.
They are.
Like, you can tell that they put a lot of care into the animation and the visuals.
Yeah, it's like they've managed to capture that childlike wonder without being overly simplistic or condescending.
Right, there's a depth to them.
There is.
An intelligence that I think appeals to audiences of all ages.
Yeah, it's a reminder that good storytelling is timeless.
It is.
And universal.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how old you are.
No.
Everybody loves a good story.
Okay, so before we wrap up our deep dive into the best movies of 2025 so far,
Okay.
I want to touch on a couple more films that have caught my eye. Damn, this one sounds truly terrifying.
Oh, yeah. I've heard it's really intense.
It's like a true horror experience.
Yeah.
I love a good psychological thriller.
Me too.
And this one seems to really deliver.
From what I've heard, it's a slow burn.
Okay.
But when it hits hard.
Oh, I like that.
It's the kind of film that stays with you.
Right.
You know, you're still thinking about it days later.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
And then you have Presence, which is a very different kind of horror.
Right. More atmospheric.
They're psychological,
Yeah.
relies on suspense and dread rather than jump scares,
Right.
which I appreciate.
Yeah, me too. It's like a different kind of scary.
It's more about what you don't see
Exactly.
than what you do.
It's a testament to Soderbergh's skill as a filmmaker.
It is. He's so versatile.
He really is.
He can move between genres so effortlessly.
Yeah, and he always maintains that unique vision.
Yeah, he's not afraid to tackle difficult material.
No, he's not.
But he always finds a way to make it accessible to audiences.
I think that's what makes him such a compelling director.
Yeah, he's not afraid to take risks
Mm-hmm.
and push boundaries, but he does it with purpose
Yes.
and artistry.
All right, so we're coming to a close here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just struck by the incredible diversity and creativity on display in the films of 2025.
It's a good year for movies.
It really is. We've seen heartwarming comedies, thought-provoking dramas,
Mind-bending thrillers.
visually stunning animated adventures.
Yeah, it's a reminder that cinema is constantly evolving.
It is.
You know, and there's always something new to discover.
There is.
So whether you're a hardcore cinephile
Yeah,
or just a casual moviegoer,
doesn't matter.
I encourage you to explore this year's offerings.
Absolutely.
You know, step outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, try something new
Challenge your expectations.
and embrace the unexpected.
You might just discover your new favorite film.
You never know what's out there.
That's the beauty of it.
It really is.
The power to transport us to different worlds, introduce us to new perspectives, and make us feel a whole range of emotions.
All right, that's a wrap on our deep dive into the best movies of 2025 so far.
It's been fun.
It has. Thanks for joining us and happy viewing.